Right, what we're doing, Lee?
It's the same as normal, please. So the skin fades on the sides,
Yeah,
and then just a little bit thinning on the top, and then shortening the
just
fringe.
just tidy that up on
Aye,
there
just
for
a
you.
tiny bit. Aye.
So you've been away? Done anything?
I've been to Amsterdam. Went to Amsterdam
Oh,
last
aye,
weekend.
that's right, aye.
Aye.
You enjoy it?
It was mint actually. Aye, it was really good. It was pretty choppy on the way there.
Yeah.
There was stuff flying off the shelves and everything, like just in the rooms. But on the way back was spot on.
Sound.
I've got a camp this weekend.
Oh, have you?
What day is it? Wednesday. It's Friday, so we're gonna go camping on Friday. We've got to set off earlier now because obviously the dark night.
Where are you off to?
I think we're gonna do a coastal one. Um,
Of course, you won't be able to say exactly where you're going, like.
I, I, I think I can't remember the name of the beach, but it's, we're not going to go on the sand up just above the beach. You know what I mean, on the grass.
Yeah,
Um, but we'll park up probably near Crest that we on, and then just have a nice walk down to where it is.
just the one night.
Just the one night, mate. Aye.
Yeah.
I prefer it to be honest, because it's a lot more tiring than you think. It's one of them where like you're not really doing anything, but it makes you tired. You know what I mean? A bit
Yeah.
like, you know, if you have a dusty day at home
Yeah.
and you're just lying on the settee all day and you think, oh, I'll be brand new tomorrow, but then you feel tired because of it.
Yeah.
It's a bit like that. Um, so I'm
So
looking
do you have
forward to
to
that.
take quite a bit of stuff with you when you're doing a one nighter?
You've still got to make it, especially now that the winter's in, because we're in winter kit. So you've still got to take quite your bag. Well, my bag's about in the winter probably about 11 or 12 kilograms. But there's some people whose is like 20 odd kilograms. But the more that you do it, the more you realize, oh, you don't need that, you don't need that, you don't need that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You keep like the essentials, like your first aid kit and stuff like that in. But when I first started, like my bag was just ridiculously heavy, even just for one night. And but you realize, you think you'd need it, but you actually never need it. And then a lot of the things you're like, oh, I'll take that just in case. But then that in case you never need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in the winter, we'll take like two head torches just in case. You know what I mean? Because it is cold, the batteries die a lot faster, and obviously if you did need to get home or whatever, you need to make sure you've got that. Two lighters, and then everything else really you just need one of.
So
Um,
what kind of sleeping stuff have you got then?
so I start with I'll have a foil mat on the ground of the tent. Then I've got a sleeping pad, so it's like a little inflatable sleeping pad. But that's like a winter one, so it's got like an R rating, so it's like insulated to stop the cold from the floor coming through. And then it bounces the heat back off your body, so it keeps you warm. And then you'll have like a winter sleeping bag. Mine's like I think it's -10 or something, -9, something like that.
You're
Comfort
comfortable
rating.
and warming.
Aye. So what I sometimes do is just open it in a quilt still. So like I've been on a -4 camp with it, and I had it like pulled over like a quilt in a single layer because it's obviously it's just that warm. You know what I mean?
Aye.
But
Expensive?
yeah, yes and no. But it sounds expensive, but then when you think of what it's doing, and then how long is it going to last? Do you know what I mean? So like the sleep pad, that was about 200 odd quid.
Is it really?
But providing it doesn't get a puncture, it's gonna last us ages. That's got like the highest R rating. You could literally sleep on top of snow on that. And then the sleeping bag, that wasn't too bad. I think it was about 150 quid or something like that.
Wow.
But obviously it all adds up. Um, you can get cheaper alternatives. And do you need -9 in UK? Probably not. But I like to go out for, I like cold, like, Some people like to chase the wind. I like to chase the cold. So I want some nice snow camps. I want like really freezing, icy conditions and that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the windy ones, you just kind of slip. But your tent, that's like a 700 and odd quid tent. So you can pay quite a bit for the gear, but what you tend to find is you'll start a little bit cheaper, then you'll realise actually that's not good enough, and then you'll end up upgrading. So if you were to just go in at the deep end and buy, if I was just to first time camp and buy what I'm gonna buy, what I use now, I would just last us all the time. You'd probably waste more money on buying the shit stuff.
So, aye, buy
So,
cheap, buy
yeah,
twice.
exactly. Just like I like that.
Yeah.
You think, oh, that'll do, and then it generally doesn't do. So then you end up upgrade. Everything always gets an upgrade. But like my mate's tent is 1,200 quid, and our first tents were like 80 quid. You know, but
You progress.
you progress. I always want that little bit extra, a little bit better. But at the same time, to begin with, you don't go out in -8 conditions. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like you can die really. You get hypothermia. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly,
If
aye.
you go up there, it starts raining, you get wet, you haven't got a sleeping bag, you haven't got nothing to get you warm, and then you lose your way in the clag, in the weather, and that's it. You got no signal. That's it. You're kaput. You know what I mean?
So, about keeping warm and that kind of thing, obviously you got your nice stuff that you
Yeah.
take. What about having a fire? How do you start a fire safely? What, inside
Uh,
or outside?
Definitely not in your tent. So some say don't cook in your tent, not even in like the your porchway. But I'll generally cook in my porchway. I don't have a ground sheet underneath there, and I've got like a proper stand, and I pop it on a little table and whatnot. Obviously, it's a risk, um, but you're meant to cook outside your tent. In terms of fires, when I'm wild camping, I'll not have a fire just because I don't want to damage the land. I want to preserve. It's the whole idea of leave no trace. No one should know that you've been there.
Yeah.
And if you leave a fire, and then that fire is going to remain there for God knows how long. You know what I mean? It just ruins it, and it's someone's land at the end of the day, really.
Yeah.
And if one does it, the others will do it. So I prefer just take warm clothes. It sounds mad, but if you've got the right coat, the right pants, like the only thing that's cold is your face. And if your face is cold, it doesn't really matter. But if your hands get cold, then or your feet get cold, then everywhere's cold. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does do that.
And even still, you could put a balaclava on, then literally nowhere would be cold. So you don't really need a fire. Um, I've got like heated hand warmers, electric hand warmers, if you need them. Um, that's about it, really. You don't need anything else as long as you've got the right clothes on. But if I was in the woods, then a little bit of a different story. It is dangerous, especially if you don't dig a hole deep enough. But I've seen a lot of people that'll dig a hole and they'll think, all right, I light the fire in the hole. It cannot spread. I take all the leaves away from around it, but there's a network underneath that first layer of roots and of like sticks and twigs and things, flammable stuff that you don't even really realize. So you've got to make sure the hole is well below that level, because what can happen is you set a fire, it starts to travel along, you can't see it, but it's in between the soil and the top surface, and all of a sudden you see smoke coming up a couple of meters away, and then there's a blaze straight up. You know, it acts
Very
like a
common.
chimney sort of thing. I
Very
just
common.
push like a vacuum thing. So
Yeah. Have you, when you've been out, because you do solo
yeah,
as well
yeah,
as with your pals, don't
yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah.
Have you ever come across, when you've been solo, other wild campers? Or, silly
You
to
do,
say it, but
you
do you?
do, yeah, yeah. Like especially at popular spots, there's always going to be people there, or some people might turn up. It's a general code. If you have pitched your tent, someone does arrive at the same hill or mountain or wherever you're at, they should give you that space and pitch a good couple hundred meters away from you. But there is times where they'll just pitch 10 meters away. Oh, hello, and they just intrude on the night.
Do
If I see someone on their own, I think they've come on their own. They want to be on their own.
they? Yeah.
So I'd make sure I pitch well away. I'd say hello, make sure I pitch well away. Say, mate, is it okay? I pitch over there, and just make shots out of them, because
Yeah.
sometimes you're hiking 2-3 hours to get away from everyone, and someone pitches right next to you. Do you know what I mean? So, and that's part of like not giving away the spots, like what you mentioned a bit earlier on, not seeing where you're going to go, because part of it's a little bit naive thinking that someone's going to want to pitch where you've said. Like a lot of the time, it's not ever going to happen. But if a lot of people talk about the same spot, it gets busy, and then you get people who you don't want there who will ruin it and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
but if there's like a couple of lads there, or 3 or 4 people there, and you rock up, you still pitch a little bit away, but you just can't have a crack with them, because you know they're out for the banter, the socialising part of it, so you don't mind.
What's been the most memorable part of a camp that you've been?
Memorable good or memorable?
By both?
Aye.
Because there's got to be a bad one as well as a good one, like, isn't there?
It's hard when I think about it. One that I do remember it's not windy in the sense of what some people go out in 70-mile-an-hour winds, like crazy adrenaline with hillybergs and things. But I was just out in the budget tent, and it was like pushing 45-mile-an-hour gusts. My tent was blowing all over the place. My guy line snapped. It was lashing down, and we were a good 3 hours in from the car, or near enough from the next piece of like sort of safety. And we spent the night there. I had no sleep, and you're just constantly on edge, getting out, tightening the guy lines, thinking, dear me. But at the same time, it was so foggy and so claggy. We didn't want to bail the camp, because then you can easily just get lost. And if you get lost, then you're buggered, aren't you? So you think, I'll just stay in this shelter, even if it collapses, and try and make it through the night so I can see where I'm going.
Yeah.
So that was the one I remember. But nice wise, seen so many amazing ones. And a lot of it is just having like I like a combination of things. So if in my view I can see trees, hills, sea, heather, grass, the more diverse the view for me, the better it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes you go and it's just like you see a couple of hills and it's not as good, but the more diverse it is, and then if you get a good sunrise or a sunset, you honestly, you kind of be just sitting there, and it sounds mad, but just watching it,
Oh,
it's incredible.
it must do your mind so good to have that kind of meditation in a way.
That's what it is, aye. And when you think all our ancestors would have witnessed it every single night and every morning, enough.
Fair comment, aye.
But I see it at the bend sometimes. I'll be driving along, and then we'll see Pension Monument, the sun setting behind it, and I'm like, look at that, it's incredible. I say, but we've got it. I'm driving. I can't look at it. I can't sit and watch it.
No.
I'm going somewhere. I'm doing something.
Yeah.
But when you obviously go wild camping, you go in there specifically for that, or to see the stars. Like the stars in the hills is on a complete different level. Like they absolutely consume the sky. If you're in the streets, you'll see 100 and you'll think it's a lot. There's thousands and thousands of stars when you're up in the hills in the dark. And you just lie and watch and get some nice pictures of it. And so there's been so many memorable ones in terms of amazing views and waking up, and you never know when you wake up and you open that tent first thing in the morning. It doesn't matter if you've checked the weather or not. It could be anything.
Right.
You could open it up. It could be lashing down. Open it up, and you might not even be able to see 2 meters a meter. Like you'd open it up, and it could be a cloud inversion where the clouds are below the hills and you're above the clouds, and you can just see it all. Or it could be like just be like this beautiful, all the colours in the sky.
Have you ever got to one of the sites that you've chosen, and you set up, beautiful views, lovely sunset, and then when you wake up in the morning, it's a really bad morning.
Oh,
Do you ever think to yourself, what have I done? Why have I come here? Was that not
nah,
enter it?
nah. For me, once you're going home, you're not lost. You're heading home. You're gonna get in your van. You're gonna get warmed up. It's fine. If you go in there and you set off and it's sunny and it's nice, and then you get there and then it lashes down, you think, what is that? Then that's a stitch up, because then you're in your tent for the rest of the night. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
So if it happens in the morning, you're not bothered. Even if you don't have the right gear, as long as you only need to walk a few hours. So, but there has been times, literally like what I've just said there, because the weather changes so fast up there. 1 minute it can be sunny, you're warm, you're in your t-shirt, it's amazing. 15 minutes later, it's lashing down. You can't see a meter ahead of you. You're freezing, and it's windy, and that literally happened in 15 minutes. Sometimes you can look left, and it's all clouds, rain, everything. You look right, and it's the most beautiful day. You can just see all seasons. I remember I was up there in the Cheviots, walking past like along Windy Gale way on, and we literally there was snow on the peaks, and then just to the right you could see. Do you know when you look in the distance and see it's raining?
Yeah.
And then just to the right was the sun, and it was just beaming blue skies. And we literally just seen every season
Amazing.
in one, like in just looking straight ahead. You didn't even have to move your head. You could see all 3 seasons. It's mad.
What do you do about water supply? Do you take stuff with you, or can you do you take stuff from streams or what?
A bit of both, to be honest. If I've been before and I know there's a reliable water source, I'll just take me Catadin filter and I'll just fill up my filter bottle and then squirt it into other bottles and fill that up.
What's that filter?
So it's just got a filter in the cap, so you can scoop the water up into the it's like a bag on this one, and then you squirt it through like a sports cap, and it filters all the water for you. So then you could squirt it into like a plastic bottle that you'd take up with you, and then you can just fill that up. Or if you
Right.
it holds a liter, so you might only need a liter, and you would just scoop it up, fill it up, and then that would do you for the night to cook,
Right.
or to drink. But you can just drink it straight out of it.
Or food. Food. Do you take much food? Do you?
I do. The other thing,
Are you scranner like you?
especially in the winter, I take jellies, pasties. I'll make a curry. I'll have naan breads.
No. Do you?
Everything. I might have like a steak with prawns, potatoes. Or sometimes I'll just take hot dogs with 12 hot dogs with 12 buns, and
You're cooking there.
yeah.
You're not pre-making it and then
No, I just cook it all on the stove right there. I literally cook it all there.
Can you imagine wandering around the Cheviots and you're getting the smell of curry?
Honestly,
Leslie.
it's mad what you can make with just a little, like anything you make on your hob, you can make up in hell.
Suppose that's right, really, like, isn't it?
What I'll sometimes do is, so I might sometimes make it the night before, and then I've got vacuum seal bags, so it's a foil bag, and then I'll make it, put it in there. So see I had a Chinese the night before and I had half a Chinese left. I just put it all in the bag, squeeze the air out, and then seal the top with a heat sealer. And then when I get there, I'll just stick it in my pot with some water, steam it through for about 12 minutes, and then just rip the bag open, and then I'll have a nice Chinese there.
Nice one.
So you can do it the same again. Anything you can put in a tin or in a bag, chili con carne, rice. Honestly, there's so many things: stews, soups.
Is there any restrictions with wild camping?
It depends.
If I reword that, is there any restrictions amongst the community of wild campers on doing anything or where you should be doing? Or I know you mentioned about fire.
So just general common sense and common courtesy of looking after land. So generally people will say arrive late, leave early so that you're not seen. Leave no trace, don't leave any rubbish, don't leave any fires. Kind of just respecting the land in a sense. There's a lot of them because again it is someone's land, and technically in England, apart from sort of odd little spaces, you're not allowed to wild camp. You're not allowed to actually camp there. And it's not against the law or anything, but you can be asked to move on. So
Have you ever been?
I've never been asked to move on yet. So, but again, I think there's been a few farmers we've seen, and because they'll come out earlier. You'll get up and you think it's a crack of dawn. It's their afternoon. They've already fed 100 sheep and they're flying around on the quad, and they'll come up but they get an idea for you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're nice and you're courteous with them, and you can see they've got the right gear, you've got bin bags and things like that. They kind of know you're not going to take the piss.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it was like a group of lads or whatever, and you're sort of shouting at the farmer or whatever, you're just going to get you moved on. So,
well, you're right. It's just respecting the.
it's respect the land, treat it as it's your own. Try not to be seen, and then everyone wins.
Yeah, I could well imagine with the real wild campers, it's all of that, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's just the odd rogue one that'll probably be stupid.
It's normally it'll probably be most of the time it's like younger ones who are getting into it, and they think it's let's go. They think it's the field around theirs where they go and get pissed on.
Yeah.
But they think, oh, well, we can't do that now, so we'll go up the hills and we'll take a crate each, and we'll get mortal and just chuck the cans on the floor and things like that, you know.
Yeah.
It happens at a lot of like little waterfalls, and they'll chuck the cans in the water and things like that, and you just think, what are you doing? It's normally the younger ones. Obviously you get older people who do it as well, but most people respect the land, respect what's what. There's a few places that were like proper hidden gems, and then you get YouTubers come on and they'll kind of drop hints of where it is, and all of a sudden loads of people turn up, and you go back 6 months later and it's just ruined. There's the instead of digging a hole and burying it when they go to the toilet, they'll just do it behind a rock and then put a rock on it, and they're just shitting down the back of the rocks.
Yeah. What do you do about having a toilet?
You have a proper little shovel. It's like a little handheld shovel, trowel, and you dig a hole, and then do your business and bury it again.
Is it?
Aye, bury it. But some will just do it, and then you'll go in there and there'll be like toilet paper in the corner and like fire pit in the middle and cans left, or there's stuff, crisp packets behind rocks and all that, and you just think, how you've carried it up there, just carry it, yeah. So
What a pain.
you do get them, champion.
That's better with the thinning down on the top.
Aye.
As opposed to taking too much length off it.
Definitely. Wait, I'll get me little. Actually, you got a thick gourd. One of them thick gourds will probably do exactly what my comb is.
What, the rake?
Aye, and then just a little squiggle in it. And then can you see the lines? I'll give it a blast because my hair's all dirty, you know. It's been.
You need a bath.
I'll see what's. I'll see what's what when it's not. My fringes and sticking up while I want that off in my.
Well, that won't stick up because I didn't really take anything out of there.
Mm-hmm.
It was just more that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll be spot on. I'll be back in next week or 2 weeks. 2 weeks anyway.
Well, you're in every week anyway, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. That looks champion to me. A lot better than when I come in, isn't it?